executes passes percent.
We welcome up to our men's basketball representatives. We have a preview on their season.
A lot of it's teaching right now with so many new guys that sometimes you got to get them to understand that this is a very tough league. We've got to get started next week with playing games. You got to be ready to play. You got to play like you practice. So we want to practice hard and practice well, and hopefully that translates into good games. I think the returning guys, Rashaan, Benson, is a good place to start. You know, he's been a guy that's been here for 4 years and preseason all-conference guy. He kind of makes us go. So start with Rashaan, and then we got some returning guys that have played some. Allison Akaz, a big kid, is a graduate student, and he's a guy that's got some experience. He's got some size. He's very skilled. The guys coming back, you know, I think Brett Carter and Henri Ventoniemi are the two guys that probably make the biggest strides. Both those guys have good summers. Both of them are hard workers. We've got the house built. Now we want to enjoy some of the things inside and maybe start adding some fun pieces. The word I'd use is consistency. You know, can we be consistent from play to play, from game to game, and from year to year? If we can do that, then we've got a good program, and that's why this year is such a challenge.
Well, thanks to Brian and his staff for all they do and to making this event happen. Appreciate the media being here. We've got the best media people that I've been around. You guys are wonderful to us and to all of our programs, and we certainly appreciate all you guys do to help us. We thank you for being here, and you know you're always welcome with anything that we do. Come to our practices, games, you're always welcome. We're always available. Thanks to Dave Scott and his staff, all the folks that we work with on a day-to-day basis to make this one of the best athletic programs in the country. Dr. Saunders for being here. She's very supportive of athletics, and that's an important thing when your president enjoys athletics and knows it's a big part of your university. It's just great to be involved with such successful programs, and that was one of our challenges when we got here, was to be as good as the other programs at our own school, and we've kind of built that, but the success here is incredible. Just look at the fall sports right now with women's soccer and men's soccer and volleyball and football. All of them have done so well, and so excited for all those sports. A program starts with having a good coaching staff. Brian Benator has been with us the entire time and has done a terrific job recruiting and bringing guys in. Jason Latch is a former player here and has been our graduate assistant, but serves as an assistant coach, and he's done a great job on the floor and does a lot of things behind the scenes. So I thank both of those guys for all that they do. Jake View and Kent Morgan in our strength area has been really good. I think our guys appreciate them and their efforts. Having a new weight room and some new things in our weight room up here have been really good for our players. Arnold Gamber and Jen Shuck and the training staff, they have been extremely busy in the fall with our team. Talk a little bit about that as we go, but we appreciate their help. Philip Ebert, thank you for helping us academically. Always can get help there, and that's a big thing for our team. And then the women's basketball team has been great with us. We you know, some places you go, the women's and men's programs don't get along, and here we get along really, really well. So that's a nice thing. We appreciate Steph and her staff and her players. High expectations, I would say, would be one way to put where we're at now. Expectations have changed. So high expectations in all areas. Academically, we want to graduate guys. You look at D'Angelo LeGrier, played for us a couple years ago, got his degree last year. DJ Thorpe, Motir Dang, and Marvin Jones all graduated. So real proud of those guys. We hear back from them all the time. Guys are doing well. DJ's got a good job. Marvin just sent us something this week. He's got a good job. Daryl Tucker was an All-American last year. He's playing professionally over in Denmark and has had some very good games and seems to be doing real well over there. Basketball-wise, obviously challenge for championships. That's what we want to do. We were able to win a championship last year, first time in school history, advance to the NCAA, first time in school history, win the most games, 28, which was one of the top in the country. So we had a great year. We want to be consistent with our growth and our success in that area. Socially, have good people who are fun to be around and who want to go ahead and be successful. We also want to work in the community. There's different things we've done with Miracle League, with mini clinics. We're getting ready to do a couple of those. Reading program, Episcopal Day School. We're going to go down there and do some things with them. So we try to do a lot of things in the community with our players, get them out and let people see and touch and talk to them. And I think that's important. We want to win champions, but we want to build champions too. And I think that's a great way to look at it. I love our athletic department logo, Building Champions for Life. I think that's a terrific logo to have for an athletic department. Every team is unique and every team is different, and this team is different than last year's team. It's a challenge combining various backgrounds, big, tall. It doesn't matter. It's a challenge. Different personalities with each team. This year's team is a completely different team and a different makeup than last year's team. Preseason conditioning, we try to do some fun things with them. Every Friday we do something different. We've done things like the beach workout, which they really enjoyed, cycling, water aerobics, high-intensity aerobics. The high-intensity aerobics, you guys really like that. Yeah, I could tell you really enjoyed that one. On the track, individual workouts, we try to do a variety of things with them. But it's been a difficult and challenging preseason. We've probably had more injuries in this preseason, not necessarily from basketball type stuff, but a lot of injuries that have made it difficult to progress at the rate we want to progress. We're probably behind where we want to be right now. I don't think we probably played 5-on-5 in the preseason more than maybe 3 times. So it's been a challenging preseason. The most injuries probably in 35, 36 years of coaching I've ever seen. And I don't know what that says about kids today, but if you ask around the country, everyone's having kind of the same issue. A lot of kids hurt and a lot of kids out. I want to continue to develop work ethic and winning attitude. I think those things are important. Our team is more athletic. I think we're longer, we're deeper. Now we have to find a way to put it together, which is the challenge for our coaching staff and then for our returning guys, especially to get the new guys to buy in. We lost a great deal. You lose Daryl Tucker, who was an All-American, one of the top players in the league, one of the top players in the country. Like I said, currently playing basketball professionally in Denmark. DJ Thorpe was a guy that over 2 years got better and better and became a really good shooter, a defensive stopper, a guy that would always get his hands on balls. He led the league in steals and is a guy that we'll certainly miss. Motir Dang was a guy that kept getting better and better, and in the championship game hit 2 or 3 huge shots down the stretch. Mo's competitiveness and toughness we'll miss. Marvin Jones, just the ability to shoot the basketball. He was such a good shooter. You leave him open, you just knew the ball was going to go through the hoop. There was no doubt if he had open shots, he was going to make them. So we lose some really, really good guys that are tough to replace. We have 7 returning players. We have 3 seniors, Rashaan, Benson. Rashaan is probably going to be in the UWF Hall of Fame at some point. He's a guy that we found in a walk-on tryout 4 years ago, and he's developed and come in and been a 3-year starter. He'll be a 4-year starter. He's got a bunch of records that he'll set this year, and he'll be the all-time assist leader probably 2 games into the season, but has had just a terrific career here. Henri Ventoniemi. Henri has gotten better and better from Finland. He just continues to improve. He played a lot last year. He'll play a lot this year. We need a good year out of him. And Jared Henderson. Jared's sitting here. Also, these are our 3 returning seniors. And Jared is a guy that brings us energy. Really off the bench has been terrific. A great athlete, a guy that can make things happen above the rim, and another guy that we need to get some good minutes from this year. 4 of the returners, Brian Shaltho, real good shooter out of Gainesville, Florida. Brett Carter, a guy that has improved a lot. Also a 2 guard that can make shots. Cameron Cox is a big point guard from Atlanta that has continued to improve. And then Connor Flanagan is a returner. We redshirted him last year, 6'8" kid. The last 5 minutes of his last game this summer in a championship, he tore his Achilles. So he's out for the year. He's a guy we really were counting on playing minutes this year. He brings toughness, he brings skill, and he's just a wonderful kid to be around. And we have 7 new players. We have 3 junior college kids. Anthony Gomes was from ASA, actually signed with Bethune-Cookman. Didn't end up going, ended up coming to us. A guy that can score the ball. I think he averaged around 25 points a game in junior college. Max Benoit was at Daytona State and then transferred to USC Salkehatchie. Another guard that can make shots and can score. And Chinedu Okonkwo. Chinedu is a big 6'7" kid from Nigeria. He tore his ACL last year right at the end of the season. We actually thought he would be out for the entire year, but he is such a hard worker. His progress has been so good. We feel like we may have a chance to get him back at some point this year. We're just going to wait and see. If he doesn't get back in time to really help us, we'll redshirt him. If he does, we'll play him. But he's a big, strong, competitive guy. Some other guys, Alisson Ka is sitting here. Alisson is a post-grad from Old Dominion. He's already got a degree in criminal justice and is in his 5th year of playing. He's a guy that we really need to have help us. He's 6'9" and can play in or out, shoots the ball faced up, post up, rebounds, does a lot of things for us, and we need him to come along quickly to help us. Rain Hartman, 6'10" kid from Australia that got here the first day, and next thing we know, he's got a crack or a fracture in his back. So he's been out the entire preseason. another 6'10" kid that we really counted on for size and some depth inside, and we're waiting to kind of see where he's at, if he's going to get to play this year or not. We're still not sure on him. Jalen Green is a transfer from Miles College, a kid out of Montgomery that's a big point guard that plays very hard. And then John Brown is a transfer from North Alabama. He redshirted there last year. John has a chance to be the freshman of the year in the league, I think. He'll play a lot. He'll probably start as a freshman. Big, strong, athletic kid. Played for Jason Latch's dad in high school, so he's been well coached. He understands work ethic. He understands coming to practice every day and working. But I think John has a great chance to be a very good player for us. We have 5 international players. It's kind of the League of Nations with those guys, and it's funny, all of them have been hurt. I don't know what that says about the international guys, but they've all been hurt at some point. I'm glad Henri's shoulder popped back in so we could keep him on the floor some. But I look out there one day and we have 1 post player. I told my wife for the year we got 6 post players. We may have too many. And then I look out and our biggest post player was Jared at 6'5", and we had 5 other post players sitting on the sideline one day. So I'm glad we had that many now. But we do have 5 international guys. We're still building culture. I think that's an important thing. Every day you build your culture, and we've changed it here, and we want to continue to build that where we bring it every day. I think that's important that guys understand you have to bring it every game because you got to bring it every game. Glad to be here was something that we did as an athletic department, and that's something we've talked with our players about, being glad to be here and then making something good out of being here. And that's kind of what our team is about right now. Question marks, probably leadership. I think Rashaan is a good leader as a senior, but we got to find some leadership from some other people. Just the toughness of understanding how hard you have to work every day and every play to have a successful season. And then getting our new players to understand what we're doing and how hard it is to win in our league. So those are the question marks and things that we really have to work on. I think the biggest key for our season is consistency. And that's from play to play, from game to game, and then from season to season. You know, we don't want to build the program and then have it drop back down. This is something that's a challenge to us because now we're not just another game on somebody's schedule. Now we're the promotional game on their schedule. We're the game that people are going to come at us a little bit harder. They're going to have stuff set up for the night we play. You go in there as a GSC champions, and people get a little bit more excited about playing you. So that's a challenge for our players to prepare that hard every night, knowing that you're going to get everybody's best shot. We have 2 preseason scrimmages left. We scrimmage at Columbus on Saturday, which will finish up our preseason, and then we get started next weekend. We go to Albany State, play Fort Valley and Albany up there in a crossover, and we have probably the toughest schedule since we've been here. It was amazing. The first year we were here, we got a lot of calls about scheduling, and this year we couldn't even get calls back. And we had a hard time. I kept telling Dave, I don't know who we're going to play. We can't get anybody to play. Nobody will play. And we were all the way into the summer before we actually finished our schedule. So it was much more difficult to get people to play us now. And therefore, our schedule is probably the toughest it's ever been. So we have a good challenge in front of us. First home game, Spring Hill. Glad to have them coming over and playing. Would love to play them twice. They will only play us once. And then our first Gulf South game is against our big rival, Christian Brothers. Our teams don't really like each other a lot, so that'll be a good home opener in the league, and that's on November 29th. We appreciate you being here, being a part of UWF basketball, and want to see you at the games. Love having you here. Questions?
Rashaan, there's so many toys and toy box last year that graduated. The distributor, how is this group different when you have a whole different cast of characters to figure out what they can do?
I watch a lot of film, and I really study, like this preseason I could study my guys because I was on the sideline recovering from a knee injury, so I really was just studying their games, seeing where they like the ball on the floor, different things like that. So it's not really tough for me to know what they like. But I think we got a lot of good scorers, a lot like AK, he's a great post scorer on the inside. Anthony can score it, Max can score it. So I feel like we got a good amount of scores coming back.
Jeff, you got Florida State to play you last Friday in that exhibition game. You know, I know you had tried to get that kind of a game early. What was it like? What do you think the players got out of it? And maybe, I'm sure you wish you probably had those big guys to try to match up with some of their players.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up, Bill. Yeah, when we scheduled a game, we thought we had 6'10", 6'9", 6'9", 6'8", 6'7" to go against their 7'4" center. We didn't have those guys. And 7'4" is big. That is long. He made our center look like a point guard. And Henri can tell you, he doesn't look up at a lot of people when he looked up at that guy. Their pressure really bothered us. Their athleticism really bothered us. But we did play hard. That's one of the things we got out of it. I thought we played extremely hard. I think it was a fun game for our players to be in that atmosphere, to see kind of what it's like at that level. So hopefully we got something out of it. It's nice to get a guarantee to go over there and play those guys. But it was a fun environment. It was a fun game for our guys, and they can see now there's a difference in the ACC and the GSC for sure. But I think it's just the size and the athleticism is what really bothered us. And to go along with that, we hadn't put in a lot of things. They pressed and pressured, and we hadn't put in. Those guys at Division I, they get to practice all summer, and they get to practice all fall. We had 10 practices. We can't practice in the summer, not allowed by Division II rules. So we had 10 days to get ready to play. A team is picked in the top 15 in the country in Division I. So that's not the easiest thing to do. And you could tell their pressure bothered us. We hadn't put any dribble entries in. We hadn't put any pressure releases in. We ran one pressure release out of a timeout and got a backdoor cut for a layup. So we just tried to make us do some of the things we had worked on, which was difficult against them.
And for the players, what was it like for you guys to be out there and competing with those kind of players?
It was tough. They were bigger, stronger than us, and they pressured. So we kind of had to play out of our system, and we're still trying to figure out what is the best system for our team, because it's a new team, and we're trying to find how we want to play this season. So it was a good learning experience, at least, and it was fun to go against those big guys. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I just feel like it was a great learning experience for us. The GSC is also a tough conference, so I think that kind of woke everybody up that we're going to have some tough games this year. And we're not going to see no defenders like they had. But they had 6, 7 picking me up full court, so that was tough. So I think it just woke everybody up to let us know that we got to bring it in practice every day to prepare us for what we're going to see in the GSC.
Jeff, how are you kind of preparing what kind of style you want to play, maybe not necessarily knowing if you're going to have these big guys or not? How are you going to balance that?
That's been a challenge. I mean, you heard Henri say it a minute ago. We're still figuring out how to play. I think defensively we got a pretty good feel of what we're going to do. Offensively, I don't know yet. I mean, we're trying different stuff every day. And I guess I'm not a coach that thinks we got to play a certain way. This is how we're going to play, and that's it. We're not going to do that. We're going to figure out what's best for our team and what plays to our individual strengths that can collectively help us win. So we are still looking. We are still trying to figure that out. We probably looked at 2 or 3 different things so far. We'll probably look at a couple more things till we feel comfortable with what we're doing. So that's been a challenge because we don't know who's going to be available yet. We don't know how many big guys we're going to have. We've been one of the better teams, I think, in our league of throwing the ball in the post. Most teams are playing 4 out and driving it at everybody, and we've done a good job of throwing it in there, and that's been a little bit different for people to guard in our league. So we'd love to still be able to throw it in there and play inside out, but we may not be able to. If we only have 2 or 3 post guys available, we may have to change how we play a little bit offensively, and we have kind of messed around with that a little bit, trying to figure that out, and we'll make decisions as we go. But, yeah, it's been a challenge.
Well, with that, how important is it to have a point guard like Rashaan, a 4-year starter, experienced guy that with the uncertainty, he's a guy that seems like he could go different ways that he would have to go.
Rashaan controls everything, which is great. He knows what we want. He knows where guys are supposed to be. He runs our team, and it's great to have him out there on the floor. That's why he's going to end up being one of the best players to ever play here in his position, just because of his understanding, and he can make plays. He can make plays for other people. He's smart and knows how to get us in stuff. So it's important to have him out there, especially with a bunch of new guys. Dan, nothing tough? I mean, you told me you had something tough.
Take it easy on you.